What's the difference between Emma, whose ideas are overlooked, undermined, and ignored until Chad repeats them, and Emily, who people don't just listen to, they seek her input and she influences decisions and people with ease? I've been Emma and I've been Emily. In this video, I'm going to tell you the difference that makes everyone ignore Emma at work while Emily grows her position and power. But first, we need to debunk the beliefs about why Emma is being disrespected and disregarded. If you are a she or a they in a he-dominated industry, you know exactly what I am about to say. Bias. Bias is not a figment of your imagination. It is real and it has been documented in studies, legal cases, and countless individual experiences. But in each study and story, we find exceptions, outliers that defy the statistical odds against them. In fact, you've probably worked with an outlier. I love looking at outliers because while some do get lucky and just find themselves there, when we examine the outliers, we can study them and find out what helped them achieve what they were able to achieve, while others have been struggling to do those exact same things. Luckily for me, in my corporate career, I encountered a lot of outliers. In my head, I've always been a qualitative participant researcher, so when I encountered these outliers in my career, I always observed them. I asked them questions and I studied them. But I didn't just pay attention to the outliers. In tandem, I also paid attention to the success paths of the people that were supposed to be successful. You know, the white dudes with trust funds like Chad. Through my observation of these two very different populations, I discovered something astonishing. In the corporate world, the same tactics are being used between these two groups by almost everyone who reaches the director level and higher. How they built their esteem and influence was largely the same. However, where they differed is in how they implemented those tactics into their careers. Interestingly, when I focused on the outliers, I did observe some that were just straight up co-opting Chad's tactics as is. But most of the outliers that I observed were integrating and rethinking those tactics. They were taking what they had been taught were disadvantages and turning them into acceleration points that had the ability to lift everyone up with them. And they're outpacing Chad in their career trajectories and influence while they're doing it. We have to start at a place where, as a woman, I felt like I was at a major disadvantage. My corporate career was spent in tech, which is notorious for the proliferation of the boys club. I thought it was so much easier for the men. All they needed to do was to be dudes and talk about dude things and they would be embraced. Honestly, in my Emma era, I didn't even try to fit in because it all seemed too hard and exclusive. Then I realized that belief was built on bullshit. It was built on a dimension of superficial connections. There is evidence, especially in scenarios such as job search, that weak connections are actually more impactful than the strong connections in your network. That is, the people that you're close with. However, in both my experience and my observations, it's those strong connections that are going to change the game. Have you ever been privy to the boys club chatter? I have, and it's rarely been substantial. Sure, they might talk about things like money and investments, but that's all peripheral. Ask a man in your life about a hardship that one of his friends is going through, and 9 times out of 10, they have no idea about it. Yet it's obviously not a secret because you know about it. Of course, I'm making a generalization, but whether it's based on nature, socialization, or social norms, women have a tendency to get deeper into connections and conversations. Exhibit A, the conversations that go down and the friendships forged in the ladies' room at a club on a Saturday night. I've never believed in the power of women more than in those moments. But also, how many times have you and your best boyfriends spent hours overanalyzing by text the conversations that you had with your boss? I'm guessing never, but that's just a casual Tuesday conversation for me and my friends. Let me know in the comments if that's been your experience too. Depth and connection alone doesn't really change anything. However, it will when you're strategic about it. I am not the type of person to tell you to go make a friend or build a connection to serve your self-interest. I think people whose actions are driven by self-interest are both obvious to everyone with integrity and alienating to everyone. You can always tell because there's just something off about them. And I know that for many of you, the thought of strategic networking gives you the ick. You think that it cannot be done without being or coming across as someone who is serving their self-interest. But is that true? Just take a moment here and I want you to think about someone that you admire, someone whose path that you would like to walk in or someone that you would like to work for. And just take note of whoever first came to mind. Now, would it be icky or unethical for you to try to cultivate a connection with that person or get on their radar? In almost every case, the answer will be an unequivocal no. Not only would you benefit from knowing this awesome, influential person, they can also benefit from knowing you. You have a ton to offer, and if they become a mentor or a sponsor, your success is going to become their success too. And when they see the potential, they're gonna want to be that person. And frankly, sometimes validating someone is an important person is going to meet one of their basic psychological needs. Just don't go full fangirl and make it weird. Effective relationships are built on mutual benefit, but in my opinion, the most impactful and the most lasting connections are going to be the ones where they're personally and professionally invested in you. And the way to do that is to capitalize on your natural tendency to cultivate deep and meaningful connections. There is a way to make this easier and to make those powerful people seek you out. Which brings me directly to the second difference between Emma and Emily. Most people completely disregard how important this one is until theirs has been destroyed. And because this one is a bit harsh, I'm going to tell you about my personal experience about how badly I botched this one until I learned the difference. When I was in the Emma era of my career, I was no one. Even the people that I worked with didn't really know what my job was outside of the obvious part, which was running training classes. Everyone thinks that training is just reading off of PowerPoints. But learning design for effective knowledge transfer and engagement throughout an entire session is so much more than that. However, I digress. It was at this time that I immigrated to the US and moved to New York City. You know, the most competitive city in the world filled with ambitious and overqualified people. I activated my job search as Emma. I had no Ivy League degree or MBA. I had only a couple of years of experience in the tech world, and it was not a big name company or one that really anyone had heard of. The response to my job applications could only be summarized as this. That's when I realized I was going to get nowhere. The market was incredibly competitive, and on paper, I was a below average candidate. If I was going to begin my Emily era in New York City, I needed to become a top candidate that companies fought over. I did not have the time or money to go back to school to get an Ivy League degree or an MBA that would make me stand out on paper, but I could make myself stand out in the industry. That's when I started building my professional reputation and establishing myself as a thought leader in my industry. To do this, I identified what my UAQ was to set myself apart from everyone else. I started sharing my UAQ and my expertise in a very simple way. Back then it was on Twitter. At the same time, I also engaged with the professional community that was already there. This not only helped me build my reputation, it also helped me make industry connections that I did not have. It wasn't major, but I did build my reputation up to the point that if a hiring manager or a recruiter got through my application just enough to lurk on my social media profiles, or was peeking around before a job interview, it would be obvious to them that I knew my stuff. After I accepted my dream job offer, one of the interviewers who actually played a key role in getting them to hire me told me that one of the reasons that he was so impressed and so confident and advocated for me was based on the reputation that I had built within the industry, as small as it was. Obviously, I didn't stop building my professional reputation once I got that job. It was something that I continued to cultivate both inside and outside of the company. It is why I had a steady stream of job offers. It is why I got 5 promotions in 3 years, and it is why I reached the executive level by the time that I was 32 years old. Your reputation, what people say about you in rooms that you are not in, is the most impactful career accelerator at every junction of your career. It will open doors, help you avoid BS, and help you build influence at your company and beyond. There is a key factor in building your professional reputation that 95% of professionals totally ignore. If you are sleeping on this one, not only are you missing out on opportunities and opportunities being created just for you, you are gonna have unnecessary stress and drama in your life. Let's talk about the core difference between Emma and Emily. Emily's contribution and potential are seen and validated. Emma's are not. Relationships and reputation play an instrumental role in this difference, but they are not the only reason why people ask for Emily's input and stop and listen to what she has to say. While Emma's isn't just ignored, it's often invalidated by her boss and coworkers. Emily realizes something that Emma doesn't, and as a result, she's engaging in it while Emma's doing her best to stay out of it. Emily has learned how to navigate office politics. I know many of you have experiences with office politics that are extremely negative. Rumors have been spread, credit has been stolen, your reputation has been trashed. That is the toxic side of office politics. And not only do we want to avoid those types of office politics, we want to make ourselves immune to that type of office politics. The way that we do that is not by ignoring office politics altogether. The way that we do that is by engaging in positive and powerful corporate politics. Once you have the favor of a power player, everybody is going to stop to listen to you. Not just that, they don't want to be on your bad side because they're afraid that that power player would turn on them too. This isn't dirty or complicated. You can learn how to present your ideas so they are unignorable. You can stage yourself to get what you want and make your success something that other people want to brag about. The real difference between Emma and Emily is that Emily has influence and Emma does not. The thing is, influence is part of politics, and this is not complicated. You don't need to sell your soul to play the game and win. When you're playing the game right, everyone's gonna win. You just need to know the simple power moves that are going to help you avoid the BS and build your influence at work, and how to implement them quickly and easily so that you can get the life and career that you want. Which brings me to the sponsor of today's video. Me. I'm launching my new workshop, Power Moves Mastery, to help you implement everything that we have talked about in this video. In the workshop, you are going to become skilled in the power moves to help you boost your influence at work, avoid the drama, and to learn how to read any room that you walk into. You can learn more and enroll by going to powermovesmastery.com. Of course, we don't want to wait till the workshop though to take action. You can start today by making sure that you're not making mistakes at work that would ruin your reputation by going to watch this video next. I'll see you there.